All right, hello, Sooner Nation. Hey, before we get started, I just want to, I guess, I want to thank some of the Texas fans for watching our YouTube. We had our most views with just me and Steve. So I texted him the other day. I was like, "Are you watching this?" I mean, it was so. Before we get off, I'll try to touch on a few comments, but I appreciate everybody. Lots of new subscribers too, so appreciate all that.
Yeah, no, I threw out the goal of 125 subscribers, but the next time we talk, I think we were at 127, 128. So way to go.
120,
Over
129.
expectations. 129. Wow. See, I haven't even looked that much today. There was the comment I was telling my family, about the good showing, over 1,100 views, and she was like, "Yeah, and imagine that." And I bet neither one of your wives have watched it or one on either one of them. And I said, "No,
I can promise you
that much is true." So,
but before we jump into this, I'll tell you what my wife said. She said, "I go, wow, we've got already 300 views." She goes, 300 views. Wow, that's good. And she goes, "Why do you do this?" I'm like, do you hate it because I enjoy doing something?
Yeah.
And then now I will tell you, last night I go, we're over 1,000 on views, and she goes, "Really?" Like she's shocked.
Yeah.
Me.
Who would want to listen who would listen to us? Well, but we're glad that you did listen to us and you didn't come here just to hear us talk about ourselves. So let's just jump right into it, Jeremy. I know we've said this biggest game in the Brent Venables career, third or fourth time this year. But this time we really mean it. This time we really mean it. If you follow this podcast, Jeremy and I are sunshine pumpers. We try to see the good in Sooner football. We want success to happen. We're optimists, whatever phrase you want to use. But we need to win Saturday. There's no excuse about it. Nothing else out there. We do have to go beat South Carolina on Saturday. I don't know how in the world we can come back on here on Sunday or Saturday night, whenever we'll be able to make this thing work again. But there's no way to spin it if we lose this game Saturday. There's just not.
Yeah. There's not. I mean, and this is going to be kind of my attitude even during a basketball season is I am not going to believe anything till I see it. I mean, I look at this game on Saturday and I say, we should win, and we should. But there's how many times in the Brent Venables era have we said we should win and we lay an egg? Like last year. We remember we went in against South Carolina and we were like, oh, we'll win this game easy. And then Michael Hawkins is like, hold my beer. So I'm nervous, I guess is probably the best way to describe it. Because this is our season. We talked about Texas being Texas season last year or last game. I think it is our season right here.
But I think, for those of you who maybe hadn't watched up until last week, or if you did watch last week, and once again, we thank you for that. We've been saying all year long we had to get through that Texas game 5-1. Well, I think we've got to get through this game 6-1. There's just really no way around that. When you look at the games that we have left, to me, this is our most winnable game that we have left. And we just have to go do this. When you look at South Carolina is 3-3. Their wins are Virginia Tech, who fired their coach. They're not any good. Kentucky, who's probably going to fire their coach. He's not any good. If you watch that game, that was just pick central by Kentucky. And South Carolina State, a FCS program. This team that's lost to Vandy, it's lost to Missouri, it's lost to LSU. They're 3-3. It's a game you got to win. There's just really no other way to put it. This was the team that preseason was talked really highly about. Lenora Sellers was talked really highly about. And Lenora Sellers has had an underwhelming season. Okay, he just has. Do you know that? What do you think the longest run? We know Lenora Sellers is a really good athlete. What do you think the longest run from scrimmage Lenora Sellers has this year is?
12.
Okay, it's 20, which is, okay.
I mean,
but if you would have told me that before the season, this is a guy that we saw was just rampaging through people. Okay. But he's only got 118 yards all season in rushing. Now, some of that's because he's been sacked 19 times. Okay. Which is a lot. Just by comparison, John Mateer has been sacked 9 times. Okay. They both have missed. They both played about the same number of snaps, so that's kind of apples for apples on that kind of a deal. But Lenora Sellers, preseason Heisman talk, all those sorts of things, just really hasn't had the season that I think a lot of people had talked about. He's thrown for a little over 1,000 yards, 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Okay, so it just hasn't been a dynamic start for them offensively.
Yeah. And I think that's what scares me the most about South Carolina. It's kind of the same thing that happened with Arch. What's really funny, and I don't remember who I heard say this, is we talked about how great Arch Manning played. I mean, you look at his stats, it's not like he set the world on fire. It's just he made more play. And compared to what John Mateer was doing at that time, yes, he did look good. But it worries me about Sellers is, crap, is this a game Sellers just has one of those freak games? He won freak games like, he's an athlete. He's a stud. He is. He didn't – I know you got a horrible offensive line. You don't have a good football team you're playing for right now, but he's still a really good football player. So at any time he could bust out. I just don't want it to be us, and I'm afraid that's what worries me the most. And they're at home, so.
Well, and I mean, okay, you talk about it. Sellers has to do those things for South Carolina to be good. He does. Just like Mateer has to do those things for us to be good. And, all we've heard about for the last week, this possibility we may just cancel the football program from what I've heard. Heard there's a pretty good chance we just do away with it. We just become one of those fall baseball schools like some of the small schools in Oklahoma. We just play fall and spring baseball and we just do away with football. I know that's under consideration since we lost one freaking game. But
and we only listen to gay bikers.
Yeah. But anyway, all that being said, we've heard about how we don't have any running backs. Okay. Our running backs are awful. We have no run game. Who do you think has more yards this year? Our number one running back, Blaylock, or their number one running back, Faison? Ours.
I mean, South Carolina's behind us in every offensive category right now. So,
and they were able to, and this is hats off to them. They were able to run the ball pretty well against LSU last week, but they did have a guy, Matt Fuller, who came in, had a 72-yard run, which is awesome. We need big plays like that too. But he had 71 yards rushing in every game before that. Okay, so this isn't some guy who is some dude. He had a 72-yard run, which is awesome. We would take one. Believe me, if we can get a 72-yard run from Gavin Sawchuk's little brother off the bench, I'd love it. Put him in there. Okay, whoever it may be, I don't care. I'll take a 72-yard run from anybody. Okay, put Stone back there and let him just button it like Christian Okoye in Tecmo Bowl. I don't care, but let's just do something to get more things going on the ground because we have to, right?
Well, yeah, I mean. And also, too, like, this is a big game for Ben Arbuckle. I mean, dude's 29 years old. I mean, he's young. We know that. We knew that when we hired him. But he's got to know what personnel he's playing with. And, hey, and also, too, I'm all for the Jaden Knott hate. But the sweep to Burks, you got to put your guys in good position. Jaden Knott is
what is Jaden Knott hate doing?
Blocking. And so – it's just, and you can tell there is animosity between Jaden Knott and the coaching staff. And I don't know if that's going up to the front office, what it's doing, but it hasn't worked. We understand that now. Okay. Right. So let's just move on from that. I don't give a crap if you just leave Blaylock in there and just let him run until he gets hurt. I mean, you've got to try something new because doing what we've been doing in the running game, taking the snap, handing off, do some movement, put some window dressing on this thing. And because when you don't have a good offensive line, you've got to run kind of, I don't want to say trick plays, but different style runs, misdirections. And they're not doing it.
This is the bad news. Okay. I've given you some good news and all that stuff. In our 2 SEC games, we have 56 carries for 80 yards. That's really, really bad, guys. That's less than 1.5 yards a carry. We know that's bad. Jeremy knows that's bad. I know it's bad. BV knows it's bad. Arbuckle knows it's bad. Nagy knows it's bad. Whoever matters knows it's bad. It is. But like Jeremy says, I understand just going full, the quote unquote, just go full air raid. I get that. But my success is this team needs to make the playoff. That's success to me. or we need to at least go into that LSU game with a chance to make the playoff at the end of the year. Okay. And we're not going to do that throwing the ball 60 times. We're not. We're not going to do that. We've got to figure out some way to run the football. We just do. And I'm with you. Our tight ends are terrible. If you follow this podcast at all, you know Jeremy and I have wanted to pack Joe John for a really, really long time. And we kind of let some of the smoke and mirror of Jaren Kanak being a good athlete and touching the ball disguise that. But if we're not going to throw it to Jaren Kanak doesn't need to be on the field.
Yeah.
Okay. We need to put someone out there who can block and can do those things. So we've got to find a way it is. And Jeremy, you've talked, I mean, do you think it's Xavier Robinson? Maybe that's what it is. Maybe there is something else out there.
I'm really interested to see if Tatum gets healthy, if he gets some run. Like, it's not like I think it was unofficial 40. I was listening to it before we got on, and Josh McCuistion goes, I think the most frustrating part is that it's not like anybody's going like crazy and just, well, this guy can't take him off the field because we don't have a running game right now where anybody's just like setting the world on fire. I mean, Blaylock's our best runner, and it's not like he's just putting just big chunk plays. And I think that's my whole issue is like we've tried it the other way. Like we tried it just to take a snap handoff, do some misdirection, do some different things to help get these guys some holes because your offensive line's bad, your tight end group's bad. Those two groups cannot block. So you're not going to run the football with that. So,
and I mean, I don't know. I mean, to me, it looked like when I go back to probably the happiest I've been as a Cougar fan this whole year was at the end of the Michigan game when we had the big long drive to kind of end the Michigan game. It ended with the field goal.
You said the whole year. I thought you meant when we got those free pancakes at from IHOP.
Yeah. No, but all season, okay, was the big long run, the big long drive we had that ate about 7 or 8 minutes to kind of end the Michigan game. And we were able to mix in some different runs. We did a lot of motion. We did a lot of, I mean, like, I know we ran the one kind of to Burks, but where has been, some of the middle screens, some of the quick flips, some of those sorts of things. And I know we also are the same people who kind of ripped some of the reverses and stuff sometimes when we had some momentum. But do want to give a shout out to former player of mine, Keegan Renault, who I thought did a really good job showing some things on Twitter this week.
Sorry, getting a lot of background noise. My daughter, who knows that I'm on a podcast, her and her friends decided to scream. So
okay, no worries. But
she's grounded. Don't worry about it.
That's fine. Yeah, giving Keegan a shout out to just showing that some of the things that Arbuckle had schemed up against Texas were open. And John Mateer played bad. He did. He played bad. John Mateer, here's the good and the bad of John Mateer. John Mateer has been really good. He's re-energized this offense. But he's also thrown 6 interceptions.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
Mm-hmm. But you know what? And I was thinking about this earlier today. We can't be mad about it because what were we saying about Jackson Arnold last year? Like,
take a chance.
The ball, take some chances. Well, now Mateer's doing it. We're like, quit throwing picks. It's like you can't have it both ways.
But I mean, there's no reason to think he doesn't get better while trying it.
For sure.
I mean, like, you don't get better by not being aggressive. You don't get better by not trying. He's trying. He's being aggressive. He's doing those things. We seem to be cleaner. We seem to be better. We just need that version of him to be better. That's what we need.
And I'm glad you brought up Keegan because it made me feel better watching it because I'm like, well, he just missed some throws or some stuff so it looked like our schemes were there. Like we were drawing up some schemes. He was just late. He looked like a guy that hasn't practiced in a couple of weeks. I know he's not blaming that. John Mateer is not going to sit here and blame his play because he didn't practice. He's going to blame himself for I need to be better, which he does. But also, too, like I expect that to be probably the worst game John Mateer plays all season. Our defense, I expect that to be the worst game they play all season. Did you hear Brent Venables at his press conference? He said, I counted, we should have had 20 tackles for loss, but I forgot how many missed tackles they ended up having, 12,
Yeah.
13, something like that. But that's big. That's not a Brent Venables defense that does that. So it's just a lot of things when you look at it, you think, okay, we can't play much worse than what we did, and we were still in the football game.
I mean, I said it on Sunday. I'll say it again here. If I would have told you last week at this time, John Mateer is going to have 3 interceptions, we're going to give up a punt return for a touchdown. Does anybody think we're going to win that football game?
No.
No, you're not going to. And I mean, the demise of the Sooner football program has been so greatly exaggerated in losing one game to the preseason #1 team in the country who had their literal back up against the wall, that even with all those things, Texas back up against the wall, there's the healthiest Texas have been all year. Okay. All those things that happened. R. Mason Thomas misses a tackle in the backfield that if he does, they don't have the long run play, which means they probably don't even cross the 50 really for the first half. All those things are swarming to our side. And yeah, some bad things happen, but this is still a really, really good defense. I think it's a top 5 defense. I do.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at our stop rate, we're number 4 in the country. Okay, that's something. Look at SP Plus, we're number 2 in the country. And I know I'm frustrated just like you are about the turnovers and that sort of thing. But I just really believe that that's going to average out at some point. We're going to have these turnovers come, and hopefully that starts coming this week, or maybe we don't even need them this week, but that's eventually going to be there. And I just want to take this time too to say the people who want to be mad at Brent Venables for always blaming everything on the defense, guys, that's what he knows. That's what he's going to blame. He knows what's wrong with the defense. He can fix that. There's a reason he's hired offensive coordinators and handed it to them. That's the success rate he's going to do. Okay. That's who he is. That's who Nick Saban was. Okay. That's who Kirby Smart is. Okay. Now, I'm not going to say that Kirby and Nick and Dan Lanning or any of those defensive minded guys who've been successful don't go impart some things to the offense and talk about different things. But at the same time, they're not making those adjustments. They hire the people to make those adjustments. Yeah. And as long as, I mean, are we stupid enough to think Brent after that game is like sitting next to Arbuckle on the bus being like, good job, buddy. That's a great offensive performance. No, he's not. Okay. They know. Let's get it fixed.
Hey, and one thing I like, and there's a reason that he does it, he lets Arbuckle talk to in his press conference, because he gives it 2 sides of the ball. I mean, everybody's going to sit here and talk to Brent. Brent's going to blame the defense. Talk to Arbuckle. Arbuckle, now he can talk offense, because Venables isn't going to throw Arbuckle under the bus and be like, we're going to be better with you. Like, that's just not who he is. But also, too, I think we're starting to see the negative outcome of us not making wholesale changes on the opposite side of the ball. I mean, we should have changed staffs a lot and let the kid pick his staff and who he works with, what style offensive lineman he wants. I mean, it's glaring. And I said this, I don't know if I said this on Sunday or our friends group, but like Brent Venables is loyal to a fault in some of that cases. So.
Well, I mean, it's okay. It's the old, was it Bill Parcells quote? You know, if you're going to ask me to cook the dinner, let me go buy the ingredients, or make a salad or, or whatever it was. And that's kind of what it is. And it doesn't take Sherlock Holmes to figure out, like, there's a personality difference between DeMarco Murray and Jaden Ott. Okay. Torrey Blaylock is doing exactly what he needs to do. Okay. But it's weird that our best running back is the person who hasn't been coached by our guys.
Yeah.
Okay. And it kind of continues to be that. Xavier Robinson. Does anyone think he looks better than he did last year? I don't. Okay. I haven't seen the guy from the Alabama game. Now, maybe he's dinged up. Maybe he's not. Javonte Barnes, is he going to redshirt? What's going on if he is going to redshirt? Why didn't we hear about it today like we did from Jaden Gibson that he's not part of the team? Because if he's going to redshirt, see you later, man. Like, thanks for the memories and see you later. He doesn't need to be part of the team anymore. And why are we wasting reps on them? Those are just the communications that need to happen, and they need to be more honest. And sometimes DeMarco was a great player. great players not always great coaches. And I think what DeMarco is doing just isn't working as far as relating. It's just not. And I just think Joe John was this terrible hire. I don't think it would matter where Joe John is. I just
Yeah.
don't think Joe John's a D1 football coach as far as development goes. And
Well, it
honestly, as
was
far as
yeah.
recruiting goes.
Up there with tight ends, I mean, I look at it this way: you can stay in Oklahoma and get some tight ends, like recruit tight ends. There's a
You
lot
would
of
think
good ones,
so.
but
Yeah, in the NFL who didn't play at OU.
yeah, but that's kind of my point. Is like when you don't recruit well to position, you're not a good coach. Now, if he had good players, they might change the whole attitude. They had a tight end that could block because that's what they need. To me, it's like they're going too much for the pass catching tight ends. Once you go after a pass catching tight end and one that blocks, not a bunch of tight ends that don't block and don't catch the ball a lot of times. So you're kind of
Yeah,
both negative. But I mean,
it's an
there's
amazing
just,
double whammy.
I mean, I just watch our offense play and I do kind of feel bad for Arbuckle because I'm like, he's dealing with somebody else's problems
Yeah.
when you look at
Now,
that.
I agree. And I do think we need to rally behind Arbuckle. I've said it on this pod multiple times like Arbuckle was a good hire. I think it's going to work out well. That being said, if I'm going to build a blame pie, okay, Arbuckle is going to be pretty big in that blame pie on Saturday because the debacle then in the second quarter, I honestly blame on Arbuckle more than I blame anybody else. Because if he doesn't do the stupid substitution right at the end, we actually have enough time to run a normal play and we don't have points taken off the board. I think those points taken off the board were completely there. Now, going back to just the blame with Brent, this is where I think Brent has to be better. As a defensive guy, you want to be conservative. Okay. You just do. Probably the one of the football people I respect the most, one of our former football coaches, a guy named Chris McMullen. Chris is in the Oklahoma Coaches Hall of Fame. And Rock always, Rock was a defensive guy. And he would joke sometimes that punt's one of his favorite plays. He was also one of those guys, three things happen when you pass and two of them are negative. Okay. And sometimes Brent wants to be a little too conservative because in his mind, he's never going to give up any points.
Yeah.
We should have, once we got that first down, went to go score a touchdown Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
We should have. We didn't. It bit us in the butt. It just did. And hopefully those are things Brent's grown from. That's where I talked about Brent having a Texas problem on Sunday, is we hadn't seen that questioning himself version of Brent in game management. And we can thank Kevin Wilson or we can thank Brent's maturity. I don't know which or both or what it is, but we don't need to see that creep back in again on Saturday when we go to South Carolina.
Yeah. And to me, when he coaches against Texas, he's a lot like Mac Brown used to be. He's coaching not to lose. And you got to be aggressive. I mean, Sarkisian's figured it out. I mean, you can tell like Sarkisian, but also too that happens when you win. You give me 2 straight wins with Brent Venables, his attitude's going to change with OU Texas. But when something bad happens, it's like, oh crap, here we go again. It's kind of like this year when we lost against Texas. I thought, here I'm just anxious to see what this fan base did. I mean, our friend group did exactly what I thought they would, but
not well is how they've handled it, Jeremy. Not well.
Yes, they got very mad that we liked Keegan Renault's videos on Twitter.
It's not just our. I mean,
it's everybody.
It's not just our friend group. I mean, like there are very, very few people spinning this in any positive way whatsoever. Like I said, I'm not happy we lost to Texas. I'm not. It was a crummy game. We played bad. One of my bigger concerns is our energy was low. We've got to have, we've got 11:45 kickoff. Be 12:45, I think, Eastern. I think they're in the Eastern time zone. But that being said, we've got to bring our own juice to this deal. We've got to be ready to go play. And if we're not ready to go play, then this is the beginning of the end of the Brent Venables.
Yeah, he goes to lose in South Carolina.
I mean, like
you can't. I can't even talk. I can't even talk people out of it that way. I mean,
no. I mean, and we'll do. I mean, and I'm not even going to promise that I can. I mean, I've tried to put in text to different people, and not just the friend group that Jeremy and I are on, but on other group chats I'm on, and other friends that I have. I mean, I'm positive. Okay, I feel like it's going to be better, but huge game on Saturday. Speaking of
It
our huge
is.
game on Saturday, Jeremy, I guess it's about that time. Let's give me a little. What's your gut? What's your heart? What's your brain? What does Jeremy have to
You
say
know,
on Saturday?
what's so funny is I haven't even like thought about what the score's going to be. Uh,
Well, I mean, it's like we're not even playing Saturday. It's just like we just get to wallow in Texas
and
for another week.
I
To a lot of
I
people,
just keep
not to
I
us.
keep going back to I say 17-13 we win.
Okay.
I mean,
Okay.
and I do not feel comfortable saying that we could score 17 points right now, but
I
that's as
don't
far
think
as
this is gonna. I don't think this is gonna be a close game. I don't. Now, I think there's a world where we just fall back in the same trap. This is the South Carolina defense that has 9 interceptions. Yeah, 9 interceptions on the year. Okay. We obviously know what they did to us last year as far as interceptions go. And I think it could go south in a hurry. And I think if it does, it will snowball just like it did last year. Because if there is an opening in Norman, I'll tell you somebody that's going to be really freaking interested. And that's the guy on the opposite sideline, Shane Beamer. Okay.
Mhm.
And we can talk about him going to Virginia Tech. But if you give that guy an option to go to Virginia Tech or Oklahoma, he's going to go to Oklahoma. Okay.
Yeah.
That's the job he would love to have. So I think either that happens, which I'm not going to predict. I don't want that to happen. But I think there's about a 25-30% chance that happens. And then my prediction, we'll say 65-75% thing's going to happen. I say OU wins 31-10.
Hey, I'll take it. I think if they won for my score, they would still want to fire Brent Venables because we've watched this offense play and people still think like, okay, they're about to break out. But like, you don't just keep running the same group out there and expect something different, especially running the same plays. Now, with that said, I do feel like we missed some plays. Like there were some
Right.
plays out there. There was some points out there that we kind of threw it away. I don't think John Mateer is going to play as bad as he did against Texas. The only thing that worries me is that when he does have something like that happen, is he going to go into Jackson Arnold mode? And it worried me against Texas when I looked at his face. Like it was, oh crap, I'm not as good as I thought I was. It's almost like that kind of look. And you watched him even when he threw a third pick, that throw behind, was it Satania that he threw it behind?
Uh-huh.
And I mean, horrible throw. And that's once again late on your read. So I guarantee you that's all they've done is gone through every throw he's missed. I mean, I'm not naive enough to say like he's like, well, crap, I suck, I guess. No, the dude's going to go in there and work. So that's one positive I think we can take out of this. You learn more from a loss than you do a win. I tell my daughter that all the time. So,
well, hopefully we're through learning for a while.
Yeah. There were not. Venables is gone.
Yes, exactly.
Our friend Group wants everybody out of here.
Now, notice we didn't go to a hot list for coaches or any of that kind of stuff. We're not there yet, but a loss on Saturday don't put that past us. So
that's only during basketball season. We did that whole pod about getting Moser fired, so Mitch came back. So
hey, it worked out for him. Hey, secret scrimmage win over Texas Tech the other day for basketball. So pretty exciting stuff there.
I'll believe it when I see it. That's a non-conference game too.
Go. There's the old Kool-Aid.
That's a non-conference game. That doesn't count.
That's what I'm saying. So guys, thanks for listening. Soonercast@gmail.com.
Goss has to get on an early flight in the morning, so we got on a little early then and got done quick. There's a lot of crap that we had to talk, so get through it in 30 minutes. So guys, if you're not subscribed to us on YouTube, do the new sensation and subscribe to us like everybody else is doing right now, okay?
Yeah. Let us quit our day jobs. Yeah.
Yes.
Not really.
Get us
we're not quitting.
SEC Media Days. But, follow us on Apple and Spotify until either Saturday or Sunday. Hopefully we're celebrating a big win. So until then, Boomer Sooner.
Boomer.